Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of the Kickback, man. Today we got a very special guest, man. We got Hall of Fame Means in the building, man. If you don't know who that is, man, this is one of my player partners, Nick Means, man. What's up, man? Welcome to the show, man.
Not much, bro. Thank you for having me, man. It's been a
sure.
pleasure. I've been checking you out, man, and just seeing like, wow, remember you was a little kid, man. I'm a couple years older than you, so just looking back on, our time and our history together, man. Just so proud of you, man, and just glad to be here in the number today, man.
Man, I appreciate you, man, for those kind words. I'll pay you after this show for saying that.
Don't worry about it, man.
But nah, man, like, and we were talking about this a little bit before the show, man, and I think it was interesting because I was sitting here trying to think, like, how do I prepare for an interview with Nick Means, man? Because, like, we know and have a slight history, but it's like we can go in a lot of different directions because I've seen you have a lot of successes, man, and, like, I don't know if you remember this, but when I was a kid, man, I think it was like, it was some church event we were having in Thomasville. I'm sitting there dribbling the basketball, and like, this is when you like Nick Means. Like, this is like your senior year, you know what I mean? Everybody's like, yo, where you going to school at? And you came over and you just started throwing me the ball, like talking to me, giving me encouraging words. And I was like, dang, that's dope. Like, I just had a conversation with Nick Means, man, and like, and I think that alone just kind of shows who you are as a person, man. Like, even like coming out of high school, you're trying to figure out where you're going. Mm-hmm. Little kids are looking up to you, and you still was just humble. Like, you know what? I'm gonna throw in the basketball, talk to them, play with them a little bit, and like, I thought that was real cool, man. So I just kind of want to kick off the conversation there to say thanks, man, for being the example that you have been throughout the years. You know what I mean? I've watched you from afar, from seeing you go to Catawba to going into the banking field. I mean, become the man of God that you are, man. I really do appreciate the example that you set, man. So let's just kick off here, man. First and foremost, who is Nick Means, man, and how did you get here, bro?
Man. First of all, thank you for all those kind words, man. It makes me uncomfortable, to be completely honest with you. I honestly think that event that you're talking about, it was at some outdoor park that had a basketball gym. It was like a convention for the association that churches are part of. And I mean, just being the grandfather of Reverend Caldwell, who was your pastor.
Absolutely. And, shout out Rev.
Miss you, Pawpaw. Just being around him, man, just watching him interact with people, man, and seeing the impact and seeing how, like, if you really want to know how someone is, their true character, look at how kids view them. That's not what they say about them, but if a person is real genuine, a kid's eyes are gonna light up when they're in their presence.
That's dope.
I saw that. I saw, growing up, I didn't go to that church, but I came down a lot. So, being down there, just walking in and seeing these kids look at my granddaddy.
I was one of those kids.
The way that I did, and it's like, yo, he only really with them on every other, some Saturdays and then a Sunday, but just like the love and the attention, the intent, man. He was such an intentional person, man. And I just think innately I picked up on that. Being around that your entire life, you kind of, you're a product of your environment. Yeah. So I didn't even realize what I was doing for you.
That's real.
When I did that. Number one, because I didn't view myself as Nick Means, because I was never considered the man whenever I was in high school. The only reason that you're even on the team, the only reason that you're starting because your dad's the coach. So I heard all those things and, well, this person better than you, that person better than you. So I didn't have enough spunk to be full of myself. Right. Because I was always getting, put down. I was always the one who kind of, did the dirty work, was just that guy who just was present. Right. But numbers weren't phenomenal. So nobody ever really said, what, you the man, you this and that. So for you to look at me like, that's Nick Means, like that don't mean nothing to me. Like, even when I got to college, and that's when I really feel like I became the Nick Means that people know today. It didn't matter that I was a starting wide receiver. It didn't matter that I was this or I had that accolade. I was just another dude on the yard. So if I walked by somebody, I looked them in their face and I spoke to them, hey, how you doing?
Yeah, that's character.
It's just, at the end of the day, all that goes away.
That's real.
And as a former athlete, a lot of us get addicted to the attention and to the praise, and when you don't have that anymore, you're lost.
Yeah, that's real.
You know,
that's
so
real. Anybody in the limelight, really.
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
That's real,
so that's why I always try to remain humble, man, because at the end of the day, I try to do things for the right reason. If you do them for the right reason, you're gonna be blessed. If you don't do them for the right reason, you're gonna be exposed.
That's real. That's real. It's funny, man, because you talk about Reverend Caldwell, man, like. And to your point, man, I used to like light up when I seen him because like, and I didn't realize how important it was until I got older, man. But like, even before, I guess, church, because I used to be in the choir, and the choir used to come out, you know, after the devotionals and all that stuff. But
out the back,
out the back. But right beforehand, he would bring us into his study and teach us what he was going to preach. Because he knew we may not be paying attention when we're in the choir, writing notes or whatever. But he would teach us every Sunday. And we'll go around, we'll read the scriptures, and he'll tell us in a more simpler form what was he about to teach. And I did not realize until I got older, like, how important that was, man. So, like, man, I love that, man. And
6th grade education, man.
Man, still to this day, like, I feel him, you know what I mean? Yeah. Whenever I go back home or I ride past it, because you can see it right off 85 whenever you're going home. It's like, like those are my childhood memories, man. So like that, just to kind of see that lineage of where you're from, some of the people you looked up to in your family. Because it's funny, when I asked that question, you didn't go straight to a celebrity. You didn't go to, oh, well, you know, Jerry Rice was my role model, whatever the case may be. It was like somebody that you've seen on the ground level every day, man. That's dope.
Like I said, 6th grade education, man, but it's about impact, man. Like it's about impact, and that's why I live my life the way that I do today. And but I will make it completely clear that everyone who comes into contact with me, although they know that I'm Reverend Caldwell's grandson, they know I'm not trying to be Reverend Caldwell.
That's dope.
Reverend Caldwell had his lane, and I have my lane. So there have been people who've actually heard me speak in certain situations. Even I was just talking about my grandparents' funeral. Heard me speak at both of their funerals and have said, "You Reverend Caldwell."
You gotta call him.
Like you next, and I'm like, "Nah, I'm good." I said, his daddy was a pastor. He was a pastor. His oldest son is a pastor, and his oldest grandson is a pastor. I said, I think that's another Reverend Caldwell. I said, I let them minister in the church, and I minister in the street.
That's real.
You know, so I'm not the most religious person. Extremely spiritual. I think you know that.
Right.
I don't have a problem with religion or organized religion. I mean, I still attended. Well, before COVID, I still attended the church that my grandfather pastored for so long. But I feel like we really and truly get caught up in 4 walls, and the people that are in there are coming in there for one reason or another, but most of them are coming in there for guidance, you know, to get through whatever it is that they're dealing with. However, the people who don't have guidance at all are the people who don't come in there. So if you aren't doing anything outside of those 4 walls to positively impact people, then how are you truly serving?
That's real. That's real.
You know, so and again, I saw that, you know, in a lot of people in my life. You know, dad was a coach, mom was a teacher, grandfather was a pastor. I mean, they just positively impacted people for, I mean, just in every facet of life, you know. So it just kind of fell in my lap. I mean, when you walking in your light, when you walking in your lane, I mean, it comes effortless, you know. But when you try to cross over into something that you ain't supposed to be doing, like if I were to jump up in a pulpit just because people said I could do it, and my grandfather was there, I'd be out here, you know what I'm saying? Y'all be talking about me.
Yeah, gotta let you know and humble you for sure.
Yeah, so I just be me, man. So what you see is what you get. I'm unapologetic. I'm honest. But I try to always be respectful. That's dope. You know, it don't always come across as being respectful because I can be a little harsh at times, you know, but I'm just being unadulteratedly honest, man. And I think a lot of times things go the way that they go for so long because nobody was bold enough or loved that person enough to just tell them the truth.
Or break the cycle.
Facts.
Like, if someone tells you the truth, you have to look at yourself in the mirror, man.
We don't want to.
And for me, looking at myself in the mirror came from reading my own word, number one. Because to your point, right? sometimes we can get so dependent on somebody else feeding us that we don't feed ourselves what we need.
There you go.
Like, to where I started reading the word and saying, like, all right, what I'm supposed to be doing ain't what's here. So, you gotta do one or two things. You gotta go adjust and make the right correction, or you go continue to make mistakes. But from your perspective, right, when we talk about transitioning and being outside those walls, helping other people, how does that look in your current life, just from coaching to some of the things you do like in the community? Like, what are some gems you can give someone that's trying to step out and do things for others but may not know where to start?
So it's funny that you say that because I just unlocked my phone because I periodically in having conversations with people, they'll say something that really resonates with my spirit. So what I'll do is I'll type it in my notes. So it's funny that you say what you just said and ask me that, because I was actually talking to my therapist Thursday, and she said we make decisions based upon the need and information we have at the time.
That's a bar.
That's a bar. So I'll repeat that one again. We make decisions based on the need and information we have at the time. So I have a, God, I hate saying stuff like this. I don't like talking about myself, but I have a gift to where I can see things in people. Okay. I can see their spirit based upon the energy that I receive from them. So I can see needs that people have before they even tell me. I can see storms that people are walking in without them even telling me, because energy doesn't lie.
Right.
So a lot of my posts come from energy that I receive from other people. I'm not, 9 times out of 10, I'm not going through anything that I'm talking about.
Right.
But it's just when I saw those words in that meme, it struck a nerve in me. And I could feel the energy, and I said, like, somebody needs this.
Here's the spirit. I gotta be obedient. And re-put it out, because I know someone
needs it.
If you don't know directly, you know that it will impact somebody in some way.
And every time I'll get a message, whether it's a DM or a text, and they say, I needed that today. And I said, I didn't know who it was for, but I knew someone needed it. So we just have to be intentional about meeting people where they are. And when you meet people where they are, you don't judge them. When you judge them, that means you aren't meeting them where they are.
That's real.
You're trying to meet them where you think they should be.
That's real.
So when you do that, you're putting your expectations on someone else. And you can't do that, because, and one thing that I always try to do, I always try to hold myself to the same standard, or hold others to the same standard I hold myself. Right. So I do have a problem, though, I'll admit, with expecting me from others. So if I've been there or I've done something for someone, and then now the role is reversed and I'm in need,
right,
and I'm crying for help or needing help, and you don't lend out a hand, it does hurt, because it's like, I thought
that's what you would do that for someone else,
and I thought that we had this type of relationship, right. But I've learned to deal with that and to not take it personally. And to know who I can depend on, So, but again, man, we just gotta stop putting our expectations on people, man. Because if you don't meet them where they are, then where you want them to get to, they'll never make it.
That's real. And I think adding to that too, right? It's important to know we have to live out what we want others to be. I mean, you said it, but if not, hypocrisy starts to dilute the message. Because it's like, yeah, you saying it, and it's a good thing to say, but are you doing what you're saying yourself? And that can start to dilute anything any leader, any person that wants to make impact tries to implement. Because if you're not being a leader and being the first one in the gym, or being the first one on the field, or doing whatever to make that impact, people not gonna listen.
Yeah, sweep around your own front door before you try to sweep around mine.
Let's go there, because I think that's a good segue, right? Earlier in this conversation, you said you wasn't the smartest, or not smartest, but you wasn't the fastest, you wasn't the strongest. People even made comments of how you may have got your position, but because of your dad. Like, whenever how do you go from the underdog in that perspective to translating that to a college field? Because I mean, for the audience that doesn't know, Nick went to Catawba, broke all kind of records, Hall of Fame wide receiver, like did a lot of stuff on the collegiate level when it comes to athletics. And I just want to kind of dig into that a little bit, because I mean, for you to say, hey, I wasn't the fastest, I wasn't the strongest, like how did you become great when you didn't have the natural skill set that most people would to obtain those types of accolades?
It's simple. Everything I'm not made me everything I am. Kanye
Elaborate.
Kanye West bar. Everything I'm not made me everything I am. So everything that they told me I couldn't do,
it made you go harder.
I wanted to prove them wrong. Every time someone told me, man, you slow. Okay, I'm gonna do what I can to become faster, but since I can't pick up the speed but so fast, I'm gonna be smarter. You can't catch as good. You can't block as good. You can't do this. You can't do that. So every time I got out there on the field, I envisioned what they said I couldn't do, and I want to make everybody out to be a liar. And when the switch finally flipped, and I told myself it doesn't matter who they say you are or what they say you are. It matters only what you believe. So once I realized that I had the keys to my life, that they didn't, their perspective of me doesn't do anything.
Doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter. In this forum, I'll say it like this: what they eat don't make me go to the bathroom.
Yeah.
So with that being said, their opinion doesn't matter. The only way it matters is if I allow it to become my opinion. I allow it to become my truth. And I just refuse to do that. So I had a chip on my shoulder.
Yeah.
A huge chip on my shoulder. So I played like it. And when I got to Catawba, first of all, the recruiting process is brutal.
Talk to me. I want to hear that too.
Man, because of the simple fact, like number one, here you just talked about me coming in, dribbling the basketball with you, playing with you, and you like everybody, oh my God, this is Nick Means, where he gonna go to play? Because everybody thought I was going to college to play basketball.
Yeah.
But then boom, I go to college to play football.
Yep.
Like, this dude ain't even good in football. How you going to school to play football? But I got there, and I remember, coach, all them recruiting me, telling me, man, you're our number one guy, man. We run this offense where we have 4 wideouts, man. We looking for another wideout to go out there with that 4. Hey man, if you come in and work hard, you can do that. You can be that guy.
So what made you go like football over basketball then? Because I mean, we know you were really good in basketball.
Yeah.
So like, what made you just do football instead?
I followed my heart, man. I really did. But basketball, I loved basketball, but me and Todd McComb, who was All-American linebacker at Catawba. We graduated high school together as well. But we said, we want to go to college together.
So y'all was a package deal before package deals were even a thing.
Yes, we were.
All these cats doing it these
if
days.
you want him, you gotta take me. You want me, you gotta take him. So luckily, they were both. Well, luckily they were recruiting both of us.
Okay.
So we signed, and I tell them, I'm like, yo, I'm only gonna sign here if y'all let me play basketball too. Coach was like, as long as it don't mess up your academics, and you do what you're supposed to do as far as us, because we're the one paying your way here,
right.
I have no problem. It was already a guy that was doing it. Bet. Get out there, and first day of practice, man, I'm looking around, and I'm literally like the smallest wide receiver out there. And I'm like, man, I see 6'5", 6'5", 6'3". I'm talking about put together, man, and I'm 160.
Yeah.
Like, I look thin right now, but I'm 180 right now.
Yeah.
I was 160
Back
then.
then, that's wild.
And I'm like, what have I gotten myself into?
That's wild. Yeah.
I remember getting back to my dorm room and writing down in the journal that, by the first game, I want to be in the rotation. So every day, man, I just went out there and I watched the guys who the coaches were talking about.
Right.
And I remember they used to have like the upperclassmen and they had all the freshmen. So of course I'm over here in the freshman, and the head coach came over and he was talking to the wide receiver coach, and he was bragging on another freshman wide receiver.
Another chip on the shoulder.
So I was like,
just put it on there. Just put it on there.
He said he do what well? Bet. Mental note. Okay, what does he do well? Mental note. What does he do well? Mental note. So I went and I took the best that all of those receivers had to offer, and I incorporated it all into my game.
Yo, that is such a bar though, man, because that translates past football, man.
Yeah.
Like whenever you start in your business, whenever you trying to get into a field, you kind of get into an industry, like peep and see what's working in front of you, man. Emulate the greats. Like sometimes we try to get too smart and outsmart the system and do all this new stuff when all we gotta do is just follow the blueprint.
Hey, man.
Like, yo, if people in front of you to set the blueprint and you can do it better or incorporate a little bit of what Amazon doing, a little bit of what Facebook doing, and be great on your own, why not?
If there's already a foundation, why do you need to create one yourself?
Yo, that's a bar within itself, man, for real.
You know what I mean? So again, everything I'm not made me everything I am. So everything that I didn't have that they did, I took it.
That's real.
And I perfected it. But now he run the best routes. He got the best feet. He got the best hands. He run the best deep route. But guess what? I took all of that and incorporated it into mine. I say, you know, I'm gonna do this better than him. I'm gonna do this better than him. I'm gonna do this better than him. You know, I ain't gonna say nothing to him about it. I'm just gonna go out here and I'm gonna work.
That's real.
And I went out there and I worked, and I'm literally number 1 on the depth chart by the first game. But time to go out on the field.
Gotta prove it now. Gotta back it up.
They didn't put me out there.
Really?
I'm like, it's because you got the
so
depth chart.
How are you number 1 on the depth chart without, like, how does that work?
So you earn your way. So how you perform that day in practice, you know, or that week, they move you up in the depth chart. So you got, okay, I'm going with the 1s, or I'm going with the 2s. So it's me and another guy who were both in the 1 block. So we kind of split the reps for 1. But then when it came down to the game, I'm still 165. I'm a 160-pound freshman. You know, true freshman.
Yeah, they trying to mix match.
So you know what? Let's go out there with the cats. We at Winston-Salem State. So they go out there with the cats who, you know, had been there, who had more experience. So I'm sitting there, I'm ready, and he tell who going in first, and I'm like, dang, he ain't call my name. I'm like, all right. So then I'm sitting around, I'm like, what's going on, man? I don't like this. Unfortunately, my former brother-in-law, he's still my brother-in-law, my boy. He catches a pass, he's running the sideline, try to dive in the end zone, somebody hit him, he breaks his wrist. Ooh. So now they have to put me in.
Ooh. And they probably not even mad at it on the low. It's kind of like, you know what?
He was good. He was good, you know, and I wasn't even supposed to be in that position, you know.
Because it's the freshman year too, right?
Yeah. So they have no choice but to put me in when we go 4 wide. I go out there, I do what I'm supposed to do, handle my responsibility. So now whenever we're in, you know, regular offense, we just got 2 wide receivers and a tight end, they still allow me to go out there. So I graded better than everybody that week. So now I'm really number 1 on the depth chart. So I started the next game and pretty much started the rest of my career.
Yeah, the rest is history.
So, man, look, stay ready so you ain't got to get ready.
That's a bar.
Because if I wouldn't have been ready, then when they put me in, I wouldn't be sitting here with you right now.
But nah, I wouldn't say that, because
I'm gonna tell you how it's all intertwined.
The thing about you as a person is you extend past just sports, right? And I think that's what's going to make this conversation great, because, you know, you grew up in a house with a mom is a teacher, you know what I mean, so who emphasized academics, who, you know, pushed you to make sure your grades are on point, along with a dad who's a coach that pushed you to do things on the athletic side. So you had the best of both worlds. Yeah. So, I mean, you kind of battled for success, right? At the end of the day. To a certain extent. Yeah, I mean, you still got to go out and put the work in.
It could go one or two ways. I mean, it could go that. So here's the thing, man. And here's the thing that I've come to realize here recently about my life. Everything you said, you just said how my life is supposed to be.
I see where you're going.
So you put your expectations.
I see where you're going.
Me.
I see where you're going.
You know what I'm saying? So I'm supposed to do this.
Yeah.
So just imagine being. I told my best friend this a couple of weeks ago. He and I were talking. I said, man, everything that you've done has been celebrated, like over the rooftop celebrated. I said, imagine making the A/B honor roll or making straight A's and not being told that they're proud of you, or not being told, or not being celebrated because that's the expectation. That's the expectation. Yeah. That's a lot of pressure.
Yeah, it is.
And everybody can't deal with that.
That's real though. That's real.
Everybody can't deal with that. And
that's real.
You know, luckily, I had strong people in my life that made me, you know, just realize that, you know what, I'm not gonna expect to be celebrated for doing what I'm supposed to do. Because at the end of the day, it's my life. I'm not doing it for the cheers. I'm doing it because it's what I'm supposed to do.
That's real.
You know, my partner told me, he was like, man, do things for the right reason. So it's kind of like it can be a double-edged sword, so to speak, you know, or a catch-22 or whatever, you know, phrase you want to put in there. To if you, I knew my parents were proud of me.
Right.
I knew that.
Right.
However, positive affirmation is you can never have enough of that.
That's true.
You know, and I think sometimes we create an expectation and we put a pressure on kids or just on each other in general, and we don't give them that extra oomph that they need. But what happens when they bring home a grade that they don't, that they shouldn't have? Like, I'm not saying that the way that you're mad at them and the way that you scold them has to match the way that you praise them.
Right, right.
But it can't be all scolded and no praise.
That's real. I get that.
You know, so it's about balance. While I knew that they were proud of me, hearing it a little bit more would have, you know. And here's the thing that I heard someone say, Mama makes it okay, Daddy makes it right. So what I've done is I've been extremely intentional with my daughter as far as really celebrating her.
For sure.
You know, holding her accountable when she doesn't do it right. But at the same time, knowing that if you're supposed to make an A, you make an A, guess what, baby? Good job.
For sure.
Because you didn't have to make an A. You could have been lazy.
For sure.
You know, so I think, especially in our culture, we have to do that. I mean, just look at it from a sports standpoint. Like, just imagine if we celebrated our students the way we celebrate our athletes.
And see, and this is, I don't know, we might have to disagree here just a little bit. Because, and I don't know, because I'm getting new into the parenting thing. And I'm starting to think, like, all right, when Leia gets into the first, second grade, like, how am I going to interact? Like, how am I going to do this, right? I'm already trying to plan ahead. And I think about where our society is in general, right? Whenever you're kids, it's like, hey, you did good on this test, here's a sticker. You know, you did good on this, and like, here's a pizza party. It's like, do this, get reward. Do this, get reward. Do this, get reward. But when you become adults and you take away reward, and we're supposed to do things because it's the right thing, or do things because it's just what you should do. Oftentimes, I've seen adults like either become lazy or get frustrated because they're not reaping reward as fast as they sow. And it's just like, man, like, do we need to change this, or do we need to add more to it? And I think it is a balance, but I don't know. I really am struggling with that as a parent. It's just an interesting conversation.
And I get it, and I understand how your mind went there, but I never mentioned reward. I never mentioned buying her gift or giving her anything.
Okay.
I just said the praise needs to match.
I understand that.
It needs to be closer.
I understand
like, if you're gonna scold them when they don't meet the bar, then you need to praise them when they do.
I get that.
You know, so what you're doing is you're creating a mentality in a child is that, like, when you do the right thing, when you do your best, the reward
is positive reinforcement. Yeah,
positive reinforcement.
I get it.
Because guess what that positive reinforcement is when you're an adult? You keep getting that paycheck.
That's a fact. That's a fact. That's a fact.
Hey, they let me know they appreciate me every 2 weeks.
Every 2 weeks, that Friday, I need it.
So, I mean, and it's just creating a mentality to where the things that I do well, I'm not just going to be judged by the things that I do bad.
I get it.
You know, so just because mental health is real.
That's real.
You know, especially in our culture, because there's so much pressure that we're under. From a standpoint of, when you look at the game, everybody want to make it out the hood, right?
Yep.
But then when they make it out the hood, they want to do everything to remain relevant to the hood.
Yep.
And that's where they get lost.
Yep.
Because
For
guess
the-
what?
for the
They're
wrong
not-
reasons,
For the
too.
wrong reason.
Yeah.
It's like you could still be relevant to home
Yeah.
without being engaged in home.
Coming back, setting up community centers, or
Yeah.
shoe drives, backpack, whatever the case may
Your
be.
presence. You
Yeah.
ain't got to be at the trap
Or
house.
your presence, yeah.
You know, just let the people know that you didn't forget where you came from.
Yeah, and a lot of it has to do with what we praise to. Again, to your point, right? Because it's a lot of people want to be the realest nigga in the room. I'm just gonna
Oh
say
my
it like
God!
that, right?
Yeah, you know who the realest nigga in the room is? The person the nigga who's the most in tune with reality.
Yeah, I agree. The one who can acknowledge and be his
Facts.
authentic self
Yeah.
anywhere and everywhere he go. And I don't even like using the N word, to be quite honest.
But
I gotta.
we had to in that
the
moment,
instance, because people understand.
That's what we're talking about.
what we're dealing with.
Yeah.
But like, to your point, if you can be your authentic and true self anywhere and everywhere you go, that makes you real. That makes you authentic. Like, and for me, I didn't understand that until I got to college, because I wasn't in the environment where I can really be my true and authentic self until then.
Yeah.
It's like I got to school and it was like, yo, it's cool to be smart. Like, it's cool to be a part of these clubs and like do stuff that I normally wouldn't do because I may be so worried about, you know, fitting in or doing whatever in high school, to where you just open up your mind and see a new version of yourself.
I was lucky, bro, because like I was a honor graduate in high school. I graduated 3.69. I didn't get into
Cum Laude.
I didn't get into National Honor Society because I was a clown. I was in class with a bunch of, let's just say, smart kids, and I got bored.
Yeah.
They were too quiet, so I'm in there busting jokes, cutting up, you know what I'm saying, stuff like that.
Yeah.
No, but when the teacher said, all right, Nick, that's enough, I would chill. You know what I'm saying? Because at the end of the day, you had to do what you needed to do. But, I mean, I got an academic scholarship to Catawba, too. I graduated college with a 3.55 and pretty much graduated in 3.5 years. I needed 2 classes to graduate my second semester my senior year. And I worked from 12 to 5 at the bank every day. You know, so that was nothing to me, and none of my boys ever made me feel any kind of way. You know, even in high school, like I was still one of the boys. It was just when it came to doing your work, I'm not gonna dumb myself down for nobody.
See, I had that same experience, but I hit it.
Yeah.
Like, I would go to the academically gifted classes and all that, honors, AP, but no one would really know.
Yeah.
It's like, I remember this vividly. My senior year, we did the little awards thing at the end, and the A honor roll, AP, scholarship, so on and so forth. And a girl walked up to me afterwards like, dang, I didn't know you was smart. I'm sitting here like, bro, I didn't know whether to take that as an offense or I'm sitting here like, huh? Like, I'm more than an athlete, bro.
Yeah, I mean, but like, it's funny, but it's sad.
But nah, it was
you
real, though.
You didn't even feel comfortable enough to be yourself.
That's right.
You know, and I blame that on people who were older than you, like that went to school with you, that didn't show you that was okay. And that's what we have. That's what we have to change. And I got a little cousin, 3 years younger than me, and I was a senior. He was a freshman, and he didn't know I was smart. I mean, well, he knew I was smart, but I was big cuz.
Right.
And this is my senior year, so I'm, you know.
Like, the cool is probably more what he saw as opposed to knowing.
He just knew big cuz, you know what I'm saying?
Gotcha.
But he said, and I don't even really remember this, but I mean, well, vaguely I do. But he said, I walked out to one of the buildings one day and I saw him. And I'm like, cuz, what you doing out here? He's like, man, I'm going to the office. I got written up. And he was like, yo, you looked at me and said, yo, we don't do that, man.
Yeah.
Nah, that ain't us. We don't do that, yo. You need to get it together. You know what I'm saying? And it's funny because, of course, I had been written up too a couple times, but I mean, I gotta let him know, like, that ain't the route you want to go. Bro, you a freshman.
Yeah.
That ain't the reputation you want for the next 3 years.
Early, yeah.
You know what I mean? So we just have to, again, positive reinforcement, man. We gotta let these kids know that it's okay to be smart. It's okay to work hard. You know what I'm saying? Because at the end of the day, their sports and all that stuff is gonna be gone.
That's real.
Eventually.
That's real.
You know, and the majority of us ain't going to college to play.
That's real.
And if you don't go to college to play, you're not gonna play professionally. So we just have to let them know that your mind is going to take you way further than your body, because your body going to betray you.
Body going to break down at some point. Like
I'm 40.
Yeah.
Mine killing me right now.
Yeah, I feel you.
You know what I'm saying? So, but we just got to, we have to do a better job of that. And like you said, a lot of it goes down to who and how we celebrate people.
And I think it's starting to change a little bit.
I agree.
It's definitely a lot different now than when we grew. We grew up in the like right at the tail end of the crack era, and it's like back then you had to be the hardest person in the room. Like it was a different, like hip hop was different. Like everything was just different back then, bro. Like everything was like, yo, you had to be like, you had to let your presence be known. I guess is how I'm gonna say it, right?
That's fair.
But now it's kind of like, you know, these Drakes come through, and it's cool to be emotional, and you got business people that are being more celebrated, and it's just more exposure.
Visible.
Yeah, it's more visible and more exposure to
Visibility,
the good side of that. And like when we was coming up, it wasn't a lot of that at all, bro. So I mean, it is good to kind of see the progression. We just got to keep pushing that envelope, and I like to celebrate the heroes that are in our communities doing the work, man. That's why I love guys like you coming to the platform, because Corey Holt. Yep, he's definitely been, man. Shout out to the Hall of Fame boys. That's what I'm saying now.
Oh man, my man that worked with Steve Smith was Little John.
Yep, Gerard.
Yeah, him, man. I mean, just it's people out here working, man. And,
for sure.
And you yourself, I mean, bruh, man. When I look at you guys, man, I'm like, they ain't my little brothers, but they're my little brothers.
Nah,
man. Like
definitely that.
I love seeing us doing good, man, because they're oftentimes we're only in the spotlight when we're doing bad. Unless we dribbling the ball,
that's true,
or we catching the ball,
or even that they wait for you to do something bad. Facts, like the Richard Sherman stuff, all that going on right now. They was ready to blast.
I'm telling you, man, they can't wait, man, and that's why I try to be so humble, because you ain't gonna put me on no pedestal to knock me off.
That's what they want to do, though.
So I'm gonna always be me. So if somebody ever say, well, he did this, you probably gonna know before you hear anything else if I did it or not, because you know me, because I'm a straight shooter.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying, but. You just,
for me, it's all about planting good seeds. Though,
facts.
Man. At the end of the day, like, people can say what they want. People can feel whatever they want to feel. Mm-hmm. Yo, planting the good seeds for the right reason too. Because a lot of people plant seeds for either the clout or the Instagram post or whatever. And even the word says your reward is that right there. It's not gonna go beyond that point. But if you're really genuinely doing it to help somebody, to help the next generation, to push something other or something greater than yourself, it's going to be a way bigger reward for that. Humility, bro.
Humility.
And like, so to kind of switch gears a little bit, but to even kind of springboard that into career, life after Catawba. I guess some people may not realize, like, man, you're a prominent banker, man, in the Salisbury area, man. Like, how did that transition go from, you know, playing collegiate ball, putting in work, to now it's like, all right, it's time to step into this real world, and I gotta figure out a way, because I gotta provide for the fam and do what you gotta do.
Yeah. So kind of, you know, go back to what you were saying earlier, where I was like, you know, if brother-in-law wouldn't have got hurt, I probably wouldn't be sitting beside you today. Him getting hurt and me being catapulted into the starting lineup allowed me to break all those records. And I remember summer before my, it was my junior year, April. My coaching staff had just left and gone to Coastal Carolina, and the wide receivers coach was named the head coach. So the linebacker coach who actually recruited me came back to Catawba to get married.
Gotcha.
So I went to the wedding. So I'm standing in the reception, and me and the head coach, the new head coach, we over there talking. He was like, the Rams and the Jaguars came by asking about you today, wanting some film. So
like the St. Louis Rams and the Jacksonville Jaguars.
I'm talking about the greatest show on turf. I'm like, man, I'm all right, but coach, the Rams, you know, but I mean, just for anybody to even have any interest, man, just made me feel so humble, because I never in a million years imagined it, because I never in a million years imagined playing college football. So I'm like, coach, man, gosh, you really think I got a shot to play, man? He was like, man, this is what they're saying. And I'm like, coach, I need to stay here this summer. Because if I go home,
Yeah.
I'm gonna be with the boys.
Home is T-Ville, by the way.
Thomasville, yeah. If I go home, I'm gonna be with the boys. I'm not gonna be working out.
Yeah.
So not as much as I should
Yeah.
if I would have stayed there in in Salisbury and be with my teammates working out every day. So he was like, go talk to that guy over there. He's a vice president of a bank. So I'm like, who? He's like, the dude right there.
Yeah.
And I'm looking, and it's this white guy standing there who's literally at every one of our football games drunk.
Oh, yeah, trust me. Hey, bank culture,
Drunk.
they get it in, bro.
I mean, he's not a drunk, but he would be at the game drunk.
Hey,
and literally, we would be coming out of the locker room, and he would be standing by the stands, and we ran underneath the stands, and he would be out there yelling everybody's name.
And what time y'all play? Like 12 o'clock?
1 o'clock.
So,
So
we
we had no
lit
lights, so
early.
we had no night games. So he out there, he yelling people's names, and let's go, boys. And I would always be the last one out.
Yeah.
That was just my thing.
Yeah.
And he would be like, let's go, Nick Means. Ah. And I'm like, yo, this dude is crazy.
Yeah.
So I'm like the crazy drunk dude from the football game.
Right.
He said, yeah. I said, man, if this dude can be the vice president of a bank, I can work at a bank.
It made it a little bit more cooler, right?
Man, I went and talked to him.
Yeah.
And I was like, Nick Means, he was like, man, I know who you are, man. Bob Setzer, man, blah, 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 blah.
Yeah.
So we kept chopping it up and talking, man. I was like, man, I got a 3.55 GPA, man. I need a job this summer because I don't want to go home. I'm not going to do what I'm supposed to do. I need to be here. He said, come to my office Monday. So I went to his office Monday, bro. So this is April.
Right.
January 25th of that same year, my best friend was murdered on campus, right?
Ooh.
So it was just so we
Crazy
had
time. I can.
we had a guy die in a fire on campus in October.
Dang.
We came back to school from Christmas break. Demo got killed in January. In April, we had 2 other kids that was on the football team that were murdered at an apartment complex. So it was a whole bunch of mess going on, right? So I go in this white dude's office with Durango boots on, khakis, and a button-up shirt with cornrows, braids in my hair.
Hey, I'm laughing because, like, trust me, I work in banking.
Yeah.
So I know banking culture. Like, interviews are supposed to be blue or black suit, white shirt, a matching tie. Like, it's a like regimen uniform bankers are supposed to wear to an interview. So
but I mean, I'm not even going to an interview. He just said, "Come talk to me." So I come and talk to him, and we sit down and we talk, and he was like, "Man, I'm so glad that you came. You came up to me at the reception, and shout out to Bob Setzer. He actually drove me to my coach's wife's funeral Thursday, so we just spent all day Thursday together, man. So we still have a phenomenal relationship, man. That's my brother for life. So I go, I talked to him. He said, man, somebody will be in contact with you. So literally, I go back working, finish school, start working out, and I get a phone call one morning. It's like, this is so-and-so from F&M Bank. Report to Granite Quarry at 8:30 on Monday. And I'm like, I got a job. I'm like, I got a job?
Dang.
No interview.
Dang.
So I go to work Monday with Durango boots on, with khakis on, with a long sleeve shirt and a tie, with braids in my head.
That's wild.
So I worked there that summer and enjoyed it. And I would literally, when school started back my senior year, I would literally every Friday go down and visit them.
Yeah.
And then I asked them, could I come back and do an internship? So they paid me to do an internship. I worked from 12 to 5 every day. And then they eventually offered me a management trainee program. Wow. So, man, I've been there 19 years this past May. And I did cut my hair. They didn't ask me to, but I just cut my hair on my own right before I graduated from college. And I was like, you know what? This is the Nick Means of college. This young Means right here. You know what I'm saying? I can't be young Means no more. I'm about to go here. And so I've been there 19 years. So for 17 years, I was the only black male in the entire organization.
Dang.
The entire organization.
Dang.
Yeah. So we've hired 2 now. A young guy works as a teller at our North Main Street branch, and we have a black branch manager down there who runs our Raleigh office. So and I want to say about 8 years ago or so, 8 to 10 years ago, whenever I was named as a banking officer, I think I was the first African-American banking officer in the bank's 102-year history.
Wow.
So I don't say that. I'm looking at y'all now. I don't say that to brag or to boast or to say, yeah, I did this. I was the first. Pat me on my back. No, I'm just saying, just because you don't see it, don't mean you can't be it.
That's real.
A lot of times we know we can be what we see, but you have to be able to envision your life. Whatever you want your life to look like, you have to be able to envision that and then do it. Do the work. You know what I'm saying? So just because you don't see it don't mean you can't be it, man. Why not be the first? So hopefully that encourages someone to say, you know what? Nah, it hadn't been done, but that don't mean it can't be done by me. So
I hear a lot of gems in this, man. Like, just to interject real quick, because I want people to digest what you saying, but the stuff you not saying behind it. Number one, being prepared, man. You had a really good GPA, so when you were able to approach the man at the wedding to say, "Hey, I'm Nick Means. I'm looking for an opportunity." It wasn't like, "Yo, just give me an opportunity," and you been messing off in the classroom and got like a 1.4. Like, no, you was ready for the opportunity.
Facts.
You presented yourself well, even though you may not have worn the stereotypical outfit. Like, the person you were shined through all of that. So it's like, hey, I got a strong work ethic. Obviously, I'm good at football, so that's part of the work ethic. But I'm also good in the classroom too, and just having the foresight to be able to come into a branch and take advantage of the opportunity, man. Yeah. Like, if opportunity is put in front of you, man, like, you cannot mess it up, man. Like, sometimes it's one-shot deals in a lot of these situations, man.
Facts.
Specifically at places where we may not get an opportunity, or we may not have been in the room just quite yet, because even to that point, it's people behind you that's kind of depending on you to open that door and come let everybody else in, man. Especially if you're looking to take like the corporate route, man. I mean, this platform, we talk to entrepreneurs, we talk to people that's trying to climb the corporate ladder. So it's different aspects and ways to skin a cat. But at the end of the day, man, you cannot skip the process. You got to put the work in, and I admire that, man, for real, for real.
So first thing I had to write down, because I wanted to make sure I got these. So I got 3 things for y'all. Based upon what you just said, you was talking about preparation. So I live by an equation. And anytime I'm talking to the youth, like I go to schools and talk to kids and stuff like that, I always leave them with this equation. P plus O equals S.
Talk to them.
Preparation plus opportunity equals success. So for us, a lot of times we don't get the opportunity.
That's real.
But say, for instance, let's just be real right now with everything going on, George Floyd and, race relations. A lot of black people are getting opportunities. They just throwing it at them. But in some cases it's working, and in some cases it's not. But in every case it doesn't work, it's because they weren't prepared. So we have to continue to always be prepared, so if and when that opportunity presents itself, that we can be successful. Because if you get the opportunity and you aren't prepared, you're not going to be successful. If you prepare like you're supposed to, like this young brother right here has, you could create your own opportunity. And his success is what you're watching today. And also, like somebody always watching you, man. That's like I didn't get hired in that office, in that bank that day. I got hired the 3 previous years. Every football game, him coming to and watching my little narrow, lanky butt run around that football field and give my all.
Probably even how you interact with your teammates.
Encouraging people. Because
like,
you can see how people are engaging with their teammates from the stands, and you can hear it was Catawba Stadium wasn't big, so you can hear everything. So all of that, he saw how I navigated throughout my football career, and then I told him I was a student too. Because when I told him my GPA, he was like, wow. Because of, just how people think, a lot of times if you're a good athlete.
I used to get hit with that too. That prime example, the girl saying, "Oh, you smart too."
Exactly.
Like, bro, I do more than just play ball.
So we just, you might get an opportunity from someone who was in the corner watching you. You know what I'm saying? So you just, you got to live like the world is watching, because somebody watching, which leads me into my next one. Granddaddy hit me with something heavy one day, man. We outside raking. So nothing had happened, but he was like, you know what, June? He called me June. I don't know why. I'm not a junior, nothing. Like, what say June?
When your birthday?
March.
Oh, yes.
None of it makes sense. What say June? And then Danny called me Joe Nick. Like, I'm like,
That's
Joe?
funny.
But yeah, man, just crazy family stuff. But he was like, you know what, June? He said, no matter how good or bad in life you're doing, somebody want to be just like you. And I'm raking, and I look at the door and realize that my little sister, Jasmine, Maya, and Jalen are all in the house with my grandma.
Dang.
So then he hit me with that, and it's already breaking me down.
That's dope.
But then him being the pastor, him being Reverend Caldwell, he had to take it a step further. So then he hit me with, so if you go to heaven, you're going to take somebody with you. And if you go to hell, you're going to take somebody with you. I was like, man, we out here just trying to rake leaves, man. Why you hitting me with this? Man, crush me, bro. Crush me.
That's why I love that, man. That's dope.
So when you ask me who is Nick Means, that's who Nick Means is.
That's dope.
Because I don't want anybody else's blood on my hands.
That's hard.
You know what I mean? So that's why it's easy for me to do the right thing.
That's hard.
Because me screwing up my life means I'm gonna screw up somebody else's life as well.
And it don't mean that people perfect. It just means the intent
Fact.
is genuine and you trying to do it the right way, man.
Oh.
I can feel that.
Hey, I'm telling you,
I can
man.
feel that for real. Dang, man. Because again, I know Reverend Caldwell, so I'm hearing it in my little 12-year-old Ben self, and I'm hearing that, like, that's dope, bro.
Man, I'm telling you, man. I was, and like, there's never been and never will be a more influential person in my life, man. Because although he was a pastor for 55 years, 41 and a half years at the same church, like, when I tell you that he was my best friend, like he was, like, there are things that I talked to my grandfather about that I never imagined that I would talk to my mom or dad about. Still to this day.
Yeah.
Like, although he was that pastor and although he was Reverend Caldwell, he never made me feel intimidated. He never made me feel like, you can't tell your grandfather, the pastor, that. Like, I literally went and told him about doing something that would have ruined my life. And instead of him saying, you know, June, you know, you too smart for that. Right. The first thing he did was, man, you know, I always remember when I was in a situation like that when I was growing up, and you know, this joker did this and did this, and he didn't know I was ready for him. But luckily my cousin came out and saved his life that night. And I'm like,
that's ministry.
He had no idea.
That's ministry.
He had no idea how that changed my life.
Man.
Because I was at a point to where it was like, should I be feeling this way? He let me know it was okay to feel that way. Yeah. It's just not okay to do what you want to do.
It's okay to feel that way, but it's not okay to do what you want to do. That's a ball. And like, that's ministry within itself. And that's how the church, that's the posture we got to operate from, man. Like, if you're ministry, oftentimes we can get preachy. Oftentimes we can say what people should do, but reaching a hand out extended and remembering how you were before you got saved or before.
Remembering how they still are.
Yeah, okay, that too. Yeah,
I mean, let's go and be real about
it.
Yeah, hiding.
It's like, yo, like, hold on. You act like you done had it together. When you were 25, what was you doing? When you was 21, what was you doing? Like, relate a little bit, man. That's man. I like that. I like that a lot.
What was you doing last time nobody could see you?
That's a fact too.
So I mean, you know, that's why I always try to be non-judgmental, because it's something that somebody else can judge me on that I don't want to hear. You know what I mean? So I just try to be real with everybody, man, and just try to be the best me that I can be. You know, sometimes it works out, sometimes it doesn't. I know I'm not perfect. I don't present myself to be perfect. But I'm gonna be as open and honest with you and give you my true authentic self, because you gonna be like, well, dang, he was like this last week. Now, of course, the candor in my conversation with you and with you is definitely gonna be different if I'm at work, I'm at the bank, and I'm talking to a client. Yeah. You know, because I have to speak his language. Now, I ain't code switching. It's just I'm not going to use slang that is not fit.
Or metaphors that he just not going to understand.
Yeah. You know, I'm not going to talk to my daughter the same way I talk to her mom.
Yeah, I get it.
I'm not going to talk to my daughter the same way I talk to my sister. Yeah. Because of the simple fact you have to meet people where they are. Yeah. You know, so, I mean, this whole...
I want to put a pin there, because I deal with this, and I talked about this with Tim's episode as well. just navigating through corporate America, you being the first black dude within the bank, whatever you got there, like, how do you balance that? Because there's been situations from college to corporate America, like, where you're the only black person in the room. And now, going back to pressure, you have that pressure of not only being the representative, because now when you're the only black person, they expect you to speak for all black people, which you got to kind of dead up front. It's like, hey, we are not the same. This is my opinion.
Put a pin in that
But number two, like, how do you navigate those waters in being your true and authentic self, but still being a minority in, like, the room or the organization or whatever the case may be?
I strive every day to be the best version of myself. Whoever like it, they like it. Whoever don't, they don't.
So it's really just having that.
Man, look,
I don't care.
You can't.
Yeah.
You can't, because if...
All right, so I want to put a pin right there, right? Because going back to the conversation of you being the only black guy at the bank for quite a time, and then me going into corporate America, being in a lot of the same scenarios, even being the only black guy in classes at UNCC. Like, how do you navigate those waters and being your true and authentic self, while not, like, compromising who you are as a black man?
You just have to be your true authentic self, like you just said. Like, it's literally that simple. So you have a choice. You can be your true authentic self, and the people are gonna like you, or the people are not gonna like you. Or you can send a representative and be who they want you to be, and people like you, or they don't like you. So when they like you, when you send your representative, they don't like you because they don't know you. They know the representative you sent.
But that's what I'm kind of alluding to when I asked that question, right? Because there are so many African Americans, black people, sending their representative to work, and are so unfulfilled, or so unhappy, and so ready to quit that it's like, man, why am I even here?
Because they're choosing to live someone else's truth instead of their own. So I'm gonna be me. I'm gonna know whether or not you like me, because I'm gonna show you me. But if I don't show you me, now I have to wonder, do you like me? And I also have to realize that I don't like myself, because I didn't feel confident enough in myself to send me to you.
You did not like yourself. That's
because I didn't feel confident enough to send myself to you. People are afraid to be disliked. T.I. said people hate it when you're better than them. They ain't hating, start worrying then. You know what I'm saying? So if there's no one looking at you and say, I don't like this, that means you ain't doing nothing. You ain't working hard enough. You got to ruffle feathers. Now you got to be smart and intentional about it as well. So my first 3-4 years in the bank, I had to, walk the straight and narrow. Now that I'm 19, almost 20 years in the game, there's some things that I can say, especially about what's going on in the world today, that I wouldn't feel comfortable saying it. Not only because of I'd only been in there like 2 or 3 years, but also because I was 22, 23. What did I know? Now I'm 40. I have experience.
You got some cachet,
You know what I'm saying? I done put in the time. And now my word carries more clout, more effectiveness, because of the simple fact they've seen my work. When they see your work, they believe your word. James Baldwin said something. It was a quote. He said something, and I'm paraphrasing. I don't believe what you say because I see what you do. So we just have to be real. We have to be. We just got to be real, man. We can't live our lives based upon how others are going to receive us.
Opinions,
as long as you are respectful, that's all that matters. I disagree with people all the time. When you sat there and said, I think I'm gonna disagree. We're gonna have to disagree on that. I didn't get offended.
Nah, not at all.
I didn't, feel like, I can't wait till he stops. Because of the simple fact, that's good. If everybody felt and thought the same way, the world would be boring and nothing would get done.
I think that's what's missing in society, though, man. Like, we're getting to a PC culture where if you don't feel or behave and do what the majority feels you should, there's this council, there's this big uproar, this big outlash, and everyone's scared to have the conversation nowadays. But going back to my original question, I think from my perspective, what helped me get through it is truly understanding my identity, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Like, you can't stand on something if you don't know who you are.
Facts.
You know what I mean? And if you don't know who you are, you're going to go in and act like Tom and talk like this, and then you're going to go back to the streets and you're going to, it's like, yo, who is this dude?
You're going to be wearing a mask.
Yeah, he's everybody to everything, or everything to everybody.
Yeah.
Whereas when you come to find out who your true identity is, and like for me, I start seeing that more through scripture, understanding who God wanted me to be, like, then you really don't care, because it's like, oh, as long as I'm good with him, I'm straight. Like, I don't care what you like. You can fire me tomorrow, I'm gonna be good, because he gonna give me another job. He gonna make sure bills is paid. Like, I don't care about nothing else.
He's gonna make a way. He's gonna make a way. And I'm gonna look at y'all. One of the reasons that people live this life the way that they do, in being one way here and being one way there, is because of lack of acceptance. We in our community have to stop downplaying people and talking bad about them for doing what's best for them and their family. We already have to deal with what others say about us. So to go in an environment and to not be accepted there, and then come back to your own community and to be ridiculed and talked down to because you're over here with this good job. No, just because I go over there to that good job don't mean I'm better than you. I'm doing what I do. I'm doing what I'm good at doing. I'm in my lane. Just because I'm doing something different from you, just because I have a difference of opinion from you, just because I roll in different circles with you, doesn't mean that we have to be enemies. That is why our community is in the shape that it is today, is because if you don't do it the way that I do it, you doing it wrong. And that is wrong.
Yeah.
We just had Donald Trump as the president of the United States for 4 years, and probably could have won another one had he not done some things.
I mean, yeah.
And if you have a conversation, if you know and trust 10 white people that you know voted for Donald Trump, if you talk about 10 things, they might agree with him on 2, but they still voted for him. Think about that. They only agreed on 2 things out of 10, but they still voted for him. We in our community can agree on 8 things and disagree on 2, and we won't even deal with each other. Now, come on, man. There's no unity in there, and when there's no unity, there's no power.
Yeah.
Like, I stopped fooling with you because of one thing.
Yeah. It's like you override the overall agenda for a small disagreement. I see what you're saying.
Yeah, small disagreement, man. We have to learn how to agree to disagree and be okay with that.
Yeah.
We are all a sum of our experiences and our exposure.
Yeah.
I got a sister that's 4 years younger than me. We came out the same womb, got the same daddy, grew up in the same house, and we're totally different. We're a lot alike, but we're totally different as well. And she doesn't judge me for things that I do differently from her, and I don't judge her for things she do different from me, because she is her own individual. I allow her that respect to be her own self. She gives me my respect for me to be my own self. We have to give each other more mercy. We have to show each other more grace, because if we don't, man, we're going to continue to be divided, and we're just going to be helping the agenda of those who don't want us to be successful, those who don't want to see us flourish, those who don't want to see us prosper. You know what I'm saying? And quite frankly, I'm sick and tired of it. You know,
where do we? I want to dig into that a little bit more. Where do we start, right? Because to your point, when we look at black people all together, even minorities, we'll loop in everyone for this conversation. And we talk about injustice, we talk about systematic oppression, the whole gamut. And when you talk to one another, you hear a lot of the same things that can be fixed, but we don't necessarily have a true agenda, right? To put in front of either it being politicians, either it being influencers, leaders, organizations in the community. Like, how do we make legitimate plans to push forth and see real change?
number one, we have to become humble. The lack of humility has really at times stunted our growth. What I've realized is that if it ain't my idea, if I'm not out front, I ain't supporting it.
Yeah.
So we have to, number one, humble ourselves, and then we have to look ourselves in the mirror and say, what is my position in this?
Yeah.
Am I the one who can write? Am I the one who has the ideas? Am I the one who can stand up and speak? Am I the one who stands in the back and just supports? Find your role and play your part. Everybody can't be the captain.
Everybody can't be Malcolm. Everybody can't be Martin.
They can't.
Like you gotta have people on different posts. That's a great point.
You gotta.
That's a good point.
You gotta do your part. And what it goes back to, again, humility. If you're doing it for the right reason, it don't matter who get credit.
That's true. Because the goal is going back to football, right? Like it don't matter who scored a touchdown. As long as at the end of the game that scoreboard say what it's supposed to say.
We got more than them than they got.
We got a dub.
Yeah.
Like that's what. And I don't think our community takes that approach. It's not an approach of, all right, what is number one? We got to figure out and identify what is a dub.
Facts.
What do we consider a win in this next season of our community? Number two, partnership, in my opinion. To your point, like just because you disagree with somebody don't mean you got to go start your own organization that's doing the same exact thing. It's like, all right, yo.
And even if you go and start your own organization that's doing the same exact thing, just don't talk about the organization that you left.
Facts. Yeah. I mean, you can just, hey, no, we have some disagreements. We're doing our own thing over here. This is who we gonna serve. But I think oftentimes a lot of stuff can get splintered to where instead of having 2 or 3 powerful organizations or movement, it ends up being like 100 because to your point, everyone wants to be leaders. And it's like, man, if we can just come together and start bringing these resources to one place, because to your point, yeah, you may work at a bank, but guess what? You're getting paid a good job. So somebody like you or myself, hey, yo, look, here's a nice check to this organization that's on the ground doing groundwork. And now we're able to partner and work together and pull all this stuff together to do and be what we supposed to be as a community and not just brag about our own self-righteous
and it's
benefits.
It's sad too, man, because like me being who I am in my community and doing the work that I do in the community, which I ain't even gonna repeat to y'all, it speaks for itself. I'll say that humbly, but there are people who've literally said, like they've said it like on social media, like some of these Negroes, and they spell it Knee, like you living on your knees. Some of these Negroes ain't gonna do nothing because they don't want to piss the master off. All they want to do is hang out at this place or hang out at that place. And those places are the trolley barn where I work. We got a trolley barn for F&M Bank, and then the depot. So a lot of times white establishments will have parties or events there, and of course they'll invite the people that they know, and a lot of the times people like myself and another mentor of mine and brother Tim Bates, he's like one who likes to be invited as well, just because of the simple fact of, like I said, what we do in the community. So when you have your own people that are saying, well, you ain't gonna do it like I would do it because you're scared to lose your job. Number one, I'm not gonna do nothing to appease you to lose my job because you ain't gonna pay no bills that's gonna keep food in my daughter's mouth or clothes on my daughter's back. So that's number one. She's the number one priority. And number one, if I'm gonna do something, I'm gonna do it my way. Because Martin didn't do it the way Malcolm did. Malcolm didn't do it the way Martin did.
But ironically, they needed each other. Martin was able to push a lot of legislation and stuff through because of what the threat that Malcolm was. It's like, all right.
And that's what frustrates me so much. It's like, if we all did it one way, they would know how to defeat it. But if we come from different, ways of handling it, so what's the name of this again? I know what it is. The name of your company.
The Kickback. The Boardroom Vision is the
Boardroom Vision. Think about that. Where's policy change? In the boardroom. If you ain't in the boardroom, you can't change nothing. So if we don't have any representation at the table, how are we gonna change something? We can throw rocks and hold up signs and holler, kumbaya and Black Lives Matter all we want to if we outside. But if we don't have nobody sitting at that table to affect legislation and change, it isn't gonna matter. So somebody has to have a vision of being in the boardroom.
That's real. That's real. Nah, I'm right there with you, man. I just think it's, again, understanding that.
Facts.
You know what I mean? Appointing the right people to be at that table that you can trust and know have history doing the right thing in our community. Like, you know, I'm always skeptical whenever I see black faces carrying out white orders. You know, now I mean, I'm with you.
I'm with you. It happens.
You know, it definitely happens. It's like I see an appointment of, oh, okay, you know, just put that there, and then we're still going to do what we want to do. But whenever you got cachet in the community and you're that person is genuinely put the work in, you can trust it, and you know that they're going to bring the right opinions, the right ideas to that table, and things should start increasing or get improved, or funds distributed in certain places, whatever the case may be. So now that's something that I talk about all the time. I didn't know we was going here, by the way. This was just a spur of the moment kind of, you know, me picking your brain apart a little bit, man. But now I think this is a real good conversation, man. I know we running up on time, man. So
everybody just got to do their part, man. Everybody, you know, you play your role, man.
That's real.
You know what you're good at. You know, just let's take it back to sports. I played wide receiver. Imagine them put me on the line to block.
Yeah.
I'm not where I'm supposed to be. You know what I'm saying? I'm not going to be successful because that's not my lane.
Going up against 250, 300 pounds.
Yeah, so let me go out here with the little guys who can move around. I ain't got to worry about getting knocked around and all of that. Let me go do my part. You know, find your lane, find what you're good at, find what gives you peace, find what gives you purpose, and then operate in that. You know, you got too many people that's in the wrong place. Yeah. You know, and they're not walking in their purpose. Therefore, their life is unfulfilled. You know, so when you do that and you're comfortable in that, then really what anyone else has to say doesn't matter. So when people have, you know, if anybody has anything negative to say about me, why I do this or how I do that, it really doesn't matter. It's just like background noise. So I don't know if those people were referencing me when they made those references. They could have been, they could not have been, but it didn't matter because it didn't change how I viewed myself, because I know the work that I'm doing, and I'm just going to continue to operate, you know what I'm saying, in my purpose.
And we're going to close on that note, man. Like, hey, I appreciate this conversation, man. This was a real good one, man. If you would, man, just leave us with a little kind word, you know what I mean? Drop your ads where people can find you if they want to reach out for mentorship or get to know a little bit more about you, whatever the case may be, man.
I don't even know my ad on IG. Let me try to find it. So, you know, it's been a pleasure being here today. I saw this a while back when he first started, and I was like, yo, that's dope. I'm proud of that brother, man. And then to be asked to be here today was extremely humbling, man. I don't know if y'all see the shirt, but by any means, that's my little plug right there, man. I'm trying to be the best I can be and make the world a better place by any means, which is actually my name. Play on my name. So my IG is Nick_Means10, and then my Facebook is Nicolas Means, NICOLAS.
I mean, he's a good follow, man. He be dropping some good memes, some good words of wisdom. Like he flip a few things, man. So definitely check him out. Go follow him right now. Y'all know my ads, man. Boardroom Vision across the board. And before we leave out, you know, I gotta end with a 7 for 7, man. I do this with everybody to just kind of leave on a little light note. I didn't even think of one before this, but I think I'm just gonna hop in here. 7 for 7. Who are your top 7 wide receivers of all time?
Woo!
Yeah.
Man.
Yeah.
Okay.
I ain't even get them a chance to think about it. I ain't no pre-writing down. Like, you gotta filter this one out on air.
Yeah. I've been anxious all day too, man, because I was like, I have no idea what we're gonna talk about, you know. But it you know, it was off the cuff, and you know, I think it went well, yo. True. So before I do that, shout out to this man right here. Y'all continue, you know what I'm saying, to build this brother up, keep this brother in your prayers, man, and support him, man. We need more bins. Got to go with Jerry Rice.
Jerry.
I would throw in Calvin Johnson. He was amazing.
It's a solid list.
God, Calvin Johnson's amazing. You got me going back thinking about my Tecmo Bowl days. Chris Carter.
Okay.
I'm a Buffalo Bills fan, so I got to throw my guy in there, Andre Reed. You know.
Whoa. Was not expecting that one. That's interesting.
Yeah.
Why Andre Reed? I'm just curious about that one. Why?
I'm a Buffalo Bill fan.
Okay,
he was the man.
Okay.
He was like that. I don't know if I can throw. I'm trying to. I don't want to get caught up on who's playing now. I mean, at the end of the day, Torrey Holt. I got to throw Torrey Holt in there.
North Carolina guy too.
Yeah, NC. Yeah. Shout out to Gifford County.
Yep.
Gosh, bro, you caught me off guard with that one.
I knew this was gonna be a good one.
I got Jerry. I got.
Let's see.
I hate to even say it because I hate Dallas. Michael Irvin.
I'm not mad at that one.
Michael Irvin. Larry Fitzgerald. I thought Larry
has 7.
Woo, yeah.
See, you know, I played wide out too. Let's see. I love Steve Smith. No Randy?
Oh, I'm tripping.
Yoo-hoo!
You take. My bad. Take Andre Reed. I'll put Randy in there.
Okay,
I'm sorry.
All right.
And I forgot T.O. too.
T.O. I was going to say.
Yeah. God, my bad.
Like, I love Jerry Rice route running though, man.
Yeah.
Because like similar to what you were saying, I was slow and didn't have the size. And Jerry Rice was like the quintessential guy to look to with route running, with playing smart, getting open. Like I loved his game like so much whenever I was coming up, man. Just because I tried to model myself off of that. Now obviously I didn't have the same success as these guys, but you know, man, we all have end up in our places in life, man.
It's crazy how I ran it faster 40 times than Jerry did.
Dang.
And I was considered slow.
Dang.
But nobody ever caught me.
That's crazy. I was gonna say 4.3, 4.4 is what recruiters typically look for at that position, man. I was like 4.6, 4.7-ish.
Yep, I was fastest I ever ran was a 4.59.
Now see, that ain't that bad though.
And he was like a 4.65.
Yeah.
Yeah, but of course his like I said, his route running capability, man, and just his precision.
Yeah.
He created space.
Yeah.
And that's what I mimic. So I watched Peter Ward and Torrey Holt a lot.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? In high school, man, and kind of mimicked my game after those. Yeah.
Now Peter Ward was that dude, man, and he was elusive, man. He'll get in and out them corners.
Peter one of the best college wideouts, man. Like man.
He would have had NFL success if he didn't get injured as much as he did.
He just didn't have that breakaway for the league. You know what I'm saying? So he just was one of those guys that could reverse field and do all of that, but you can't do that in the league. Everybody fast.
Man, we can have wide receiver talk all day, man. Let me get out of here, man.
Everybody fast.
All right, I appreciate y'all for tuning in. Y'all already know, man. Unlock the CEO in you. Man, I truly appreciate y'all, and just come back for the next episode, man. See y'all on the other side of this. Peace.